Good morning. Today I'm going to start the process of shaping the edge of the guitar body here. I was debating whether to do the inlay first, but I think it's more sensible to do this first. Excuse me. So, to get things going, I'm going to give this a quick sand and get rid of these pencil lines that we drew the other day, just to give you an example, and or draw them more accurately and start with the rasping. I think I'm going to start rasping on this edge here because it's a straight edge and that will give me some idea of how this is going to go. This is a kind of point of no return here. I can't undo this once I've done it, so I need to try and get it right. So I'm going to sand it off, and we'll start with the rasp and see how we go. Once that's done, we'll smooth the inside here because there's a few marks left by the router. We'll sand that smooth because we need very good adhesion for the Remu once it's cut out, and this project should really start moving along. Alright, I'll get into it now and I'll come back and show you the progress. So I've made a start. It's going to be quite a long, slow process, this, I think. I don't have a machine to do it, and I guess doing it slow with the rasp is probably good because I can make mistakes slower as well. To give you an idea of what we're up to, I've redrawn the line after sanding. It's not an exact line, it's more of a guide than anything else, but you can see I've taken down, maybe you can see a better, there's a better angle. You can see how I've taken that down there. I aim to do that all the way around because it'll make it comfortable, and I think it's going to be quite a nice look once it's done. Of course, it's very rough because, you know, look, the rasp is a rough and tough tool, but we'll sand that down smooth, and then we'll put a coat of paint on it to see how it looks. Kind of making it up as I go along here. I'm not 100% sure, but well, we're making some sort of progress, so I'm going to go and grab a coffee and carry on. Well, that didn't go too bad. Let's have a bit of a look. So we're halfway through. I haven't done this side yet, obviously, so we're close to the line. A couple of places on top I've gone over the line, but it's not really a do not cross line, it's a guide. I kind of didn't want to go too close to here, otherwise I'd have to fill this and re-drill it a couple of mils further south. I don't think I'm going to have to do that. I sure hope not. It'd be a pain if I do. Obviously, if you look closely, you can see how rough it is. That's the nature of the tool that I'm using with the rasp. That will all, you know, a little bit of sandpaper and a bit more coffee and we'll be okay. Challenging part was the very top here, to be careful how I go about that, but I think it came out okay. And with a bit of sandpaper, block of wood, that'll be nice. So overall, that's pretty good. So I'll get the other half finished after another coffee, of course, and then we'll be into the sanding phase. Well, we've whizzed around there with the rasp, and doesn't look all bad. All the way around, reasonably close to our edge. Same on the top. Let's pull back a little bit so you can see. So that's looking not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. All the way around, we've got a nice, turn it the other way, you can see a bit better. We've got a nice contour, or bevel, I'm not sure what the word is, on that. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to sand this because, as I mentioned earlier, you can see how rough it is. After it's sanded, I'll probably go around and fill in a few little holes like these ones here. There's another one here. There's a hole on the back here where the strap button was, which I may or may not put back, but either way I'm going to fill that in. The next step after I've sanded really is to cut the Rimu and put it inside. I'm into a couple of ways I can do this. I can cut it and put it in, and it can be flush right up against this, the exact size. Bearing in mind the outside is going to be pearl white and the Rimu will be here. The other way I can do it is similar, but I can put a black binding about maybe a millimetre thick all around the edge, and then put the Rimu in. So we'd have white, or pearl white, then a black sort of demarcation line, and then the Rimu. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go yet. I think I'm probably going to cut it as close as I can to the exact size, put it in there and see. But firstly I've got to finish this, and then I'm going to throw a coat of white, just white primer, just to give me a rough idea of what it looks like, and then I'll have a little bit better idea of what I want to do. I won't be sanding this to a finish quality, just so it's just going to be so I can get the primer on there to get a rough idea of what I'm looking at. So I'm going to finish my coffee and I'll get on with the sanding. So where we're up to now, sorry about these lines on the screen, I can't do much about it. It's something to do with the fluorescent lights above. Where we're up to now is I've taken the template off, as you saw before, and all of the edge is now filled. So you can probably see some filler in here all the way around. This is because the rasp that I used to put the bevel on the edge is pretty brutal, and it leaves big marks in it. So I sanded the marks out, filled the ones that I couldn't sand out, and sand that. Same sort of deal on the back. This is all very, very smooth now, and I filled any little divots and things filled around here. And what I'm planning to do next is to get a coat of primer on here. Now I'm going to eventually dig a whole area here out so I can mount the controls through the back. So it's kind of a moot point as to whether I should do that first or primer it first. But I'm going to primer it first, and the reason is that if there's any imperfections, anything I've missed, I would like to catch it now. Then I can fill whatever's wrong, any cracks or anything I come across, any little dents or divots, and then I know that everything's done and I can proceed with cutting out the Rimu to inlay here. I would really hate to have to spend hours sanding and filling while the Rimu's here. There's probably going to be a bit of that, but if I can minimise it, that'll be good. So the plan now is to get a cloth and go over this with some mineral spirit to clean up any dust that the vacuum cleaner didn't catch. And then I'm going to use what's called a tack rag. If you haven't seen one before, it's a rag to buy from the shop, and it's got a very sticky substance in it. It's used in the automotive industry, and it wipes across all the surface that you want, and any lint or any debris, oil, grease, anything like that from your fingers, anything like that, it will pick up and give the paint a better chance to stick. So I'm going to give it a clean up now, and then I'll try and rig up somewhere where I can throw a quick couple of coats of primer at it, and we'll have a look at it after that. Okay, so I've got everything masked up here, as you can see, ready for the paint. Everything's sanded smooth, everything's ready to go. But I've got a bit of a setback, and if I don't fix it now, it's going to bother me for the rest of my life. I'll show you what it is. Remember, we put the shim in the neck pocket here because the neck wasn't a tight fit. Well, it's still not right. If I put the neck in, just loosely here. If we have a look on the far side, see the gap there? That's going to bother me forever. I've got to get this right. Once the Remu is on top in this area here, you won't see that, but I will. And when I'm playing, I'll feel that little gap there, and it's just going to bother me forever and ever and ever. So the best idea, instead of trying to Mickey Mouse it up, I'm going to fill this whole cavity, just like we did with the cavities in the back, and like we did with this one back here. I'm going to put this in once I've radiused the corners, and we're going to block the whole thing in. Once it's done and leveled with the top, we'll put the Remu panel on top. We'll get that all sanded nice and even, and then we'll route the whole neck pocket through the Remu, one hit, one size, and that will be it. I can't afford to make a mistake with the Remu, so I'm going to do a fair little bit of practice on this, but I think I need to start off on the right foot by getting this right. I don't want to Mickey Mouse it up now, because we've come so well so far. So I'm going to radius these corners, glue this in here. You've seen me do that, plenty of times before. And we'll take it from there. So it's disappointing, but that's the way it is. So we'll end this video here. I'll get back to you once I've got this piece in and we're getting ready to cut out the Remu. Hopefully this week. If not, it will be, well, let's be positive. Let's aim to do it this week. Alright, take care. Bye bye.